Ugh. This is so hard to make. So, I got something that I want to tell. I know I'm not the only female going through it. But, last Monday, last Sunday, not the Sunday that just passed, but the following Sunday, I got off work. I didn't feel anything, like I felt fine. Everything was fine. I was so tired. Came home from work. I was so tired. I was like, I'm going to take a nap and wake up and get in the shower. I said, I didn't need to go to sleep. I just need like an hour or two. So I go to sleep, and I didn't feel any different. It's just when I woke up, it felt real moist down there. And I thought it was this discharge, because for the past couple of days before all this happened, my discharge started to increase, and they said that was gonna happen. So I'm thinking this is discharge. I go to the bathroom. And I wipe myself, and I get back in the bed. But I'm still so tired, like no energy, no anything. But it's like I wasn't tired, but my body was tired. So I'm up. I'm in the bed, drinking my favorite drink of all freaking time. Now I don't even want it anymore, which is passion tea lemonade, sweetened from Starbucks. I was sipping on that. Been sipping on that all day. Haven't had no problem with it. So I'm just up, sitting in the bed, and I told my mom, I was like, Mom, I'm just really tired. And she was like, well, you need to lay down and get some rest or whatever. That's your body's way of telling you need to sit your butt down. So that's what I do. I sit down. And I end up dozing off. And I want to say about, I had about 4 something in the morning. I wake up and I feel the same exact wetness that I did earlier when I woke up from my first nap. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, I know all this discharge is not coming down me like this. So that's when I get up and I'm walking to the bathroom. I have to pee because my baby girl is right on my bladder. I was having a baby girl. She was right on my bladder, so I had to pee. And all of a sudden, it was just this rush of fluid that just came down my legs. And in the back of my head, I'm like, Lord, please don't tell me this is not what I think it is, Lord. Lord, please don't tell me it's not what I think it is. And I go to the bathroom and I sit down and I pee. I'm like, it's not piss. So that's when I'm about to get TMI for a little bit, but that's when I wipe myself and I smell it. And I'm like, okay, this is pee. But then I wipe my leg to clean myself off and stuff like that. And I smelt it. It didn't have no smell to it. So I'm like, oh shit. And I just broke down. I just started praying to God, like, God, please don't take my baby. Please don't take my baby. Please, you bless me with this child. Why would you take it away? Like, please don't take this child away. So I have a little fetal Doppler. And I checked her heart rate, and it was about 149, 150. So I was like, my baby's still in there beating. But I know that I was gonna have to go to the hospital. So that was my first thought. But before anything else, I called a lift. I got a lift. I went to my nearest hospital. I went in there. They seen me. They was like, oh, we gotta transfer you to another hospital because we don't have the necessities here for you or whatever. And so they asked me to name my OBGYN. I told them to name my OBGYN. And he called my OBGYN. And the OBGYN is like, yeah, transfer her to the other hospital that has a NICU. Because the hospital that I originally was going to give birth at doesn't have a NICU. So, she transferred me to the hospital that has a NICU. Same brand name hospital, but it's just in a different part of the county or whatever. And I went there, and as I'm in the ambulance, I'm praying to God, like, God, please don't take her away. Like, she's the biggest blessing that I had in my life. I was like, so please don't take her away. And I'm just praying and praying and praying. And then I called my sister. And I was like, my water broke. And she was like, excuse me if I cried throughout this whole thing. I'm still kind of emotional about it. But she was like, oh my God, where are you at? And I was like, I'm in an ambulance on my way to the hospital. And she was like, oh, I thought you were at home. I said, no, I left like early this morning. I left the house about like 4 or 5 o'clock this morning. It was about like 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning when I called my sister. And it was about 6. And she was like, well, just keep me updated, because she was at work. So she was like, just keep me updated. And I was like, okay. And then I called my mom. And I was like, Mom, my water broke. And she was like, oh no. And then that's when she started praying on the phone and trying to calm me down, because she was like, don't stress yourself out. Don't hype yourself up. That's going to make it even worse. And she was like, try to relax. And I said, okay. And then she was like, it's out of our hands. And just give it to the Lord. It's out of our hands. And then I said, okay. And then I called my husband. Well, I called my husband while I was in the first hospital. I called him, and I was panicking. And he kind of calmed me down, because I was hyped before that. And he calmed me down. He was like, my baby girl's a fighter. We're gonna get through this. And she fought this day. My baby girl's a fighter. That's all he kept saying. And he was like, what hospital are they about to transfer you to? Because I told them about to transfer me. And he was like, what hospital you about to go to? Because I'm on my way there. And I told him what hospital I was getting transferred to. He got to the hospital before I did, because they was taking all day. But back to when I was in ambulance, I had to make like a short detour. But got there, they put me on, because this hospital where I was at is so big. They have like the main hospital, and then they have a women's side. And they took me to the women's side. They got me up. They said, can you walk? I said, yes. Nothing. I was like, they was like, are you hurting anywhere? I said, no. Like, I'm feeling perfectly fine. Like, nothing is hurting. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a long story, I can already tell. But they checked me in. Got a heart rate 150. So my little girl's in there fighting. I just want my body to do the same. And I just kept praying to God. I just had like, I just put my faith in Him. All my faith in Him. All my hopes. And I was like, Lord, please don't take her away from me. I was like, this baby, we've been wanting this for a while. Me and my husband been trying to conceive for years. And I was like, I just kept saying, Lord, please don't take her away. Please don't take her away. And the doctor came in there. Like, we're going to do an ultrasound to see where the amniotic fluid is, see how much amniotic fluid she has. And we're going to do a test to see if that was amniotic fluid or something else. So they did the exam like a pap smear, and they checked my water, and they took like little samples or whatever, put it like on a little thing, check under the microscope. They was like, we'll be back in like 5 to 10 minutes. And then as soon as they pulled that thing out, like just another rush, a gush just came out. And I just panicked. Like, I was so peaceful, but then after that, I just panicked. I was like, y'all don't go up my vagina no more. Like, I didn't really care who went up my vagina. If it was that time, I really don't care as long as my baby's healthy and it gets out of me healthy. But I was like, please don't go up my vagina no more. Just, if it's going to come out, let it come out by itself. I'm like, please don't stick nothing else up on me. And that's when the ultrasound person came in. And, you know, she was checking her. She was like, oh, she's moving. She's moving. She's moving all around. And, the heart rate was still 150. So I guess they measured like the amniotic fluid. They was like, oh, you know, you still have fluid in there. So me, I'm thinking it may just be extra fluid coming out of me. I don't know. Like, you know, this is my first real pregnancy that I got to 20 weeks. This was my 4th pregnancy. Because my last 3, my first one was an abortion, and my second 2 was miscarriages. So I never had a baby up until then. So I was kind of grateful, and it was like, she's moving. I was like, oh, she keeps moving. You know, she's a busybody. Unless she like her dad. Her dad can never stay still. And he in the room like, yeah. And, you know, he was looking. And so after the ultrasound, the doctors came in. And they was like, we regret to inform you that it's positive for amniotic fluid. It can be a couple hours to a couple days till your body goes into natural labor. It was like I was already dilated like 3 centimeters. And they started bawling again. And my husband gave me a hug. I was like, oh, this is gonna be alright. He just kept saying, my little girl's a fighter. She's gonna get through this. And he just kept saying that. He kept saying, my little girl's a fighter, my little girl's a fighter. She fought this stick this long, I know. I know she gonna stay longer. So that's when he asked the doctor, is there any possible way that that we can stop the progression of labor. And he was like, unfortunately, no. There's nothing that we can do. We just have to see what her body does. So my husband started praying, and I'm Christian, my husband's Muslim. So he started praying in his language, and he started praying. He had his hand on my head and my hand on my belly. And he was just praying. And it was like, I regret to inform you that the baby can't survive out the womb at 21 weeks. Because the lungs are not fully developed yet. And that made me break down even more. Because I'm like, it had to be something y'all can do. There gotta be something y'all can do. You know. That's when it was like, we're going to transfer you to labor and delivery floor and just wait and see. So this was on a Monday, and and I was just praying the whole time, and I was talking to her. Because I asked the doctor, I was like, can she hear? I was like, 'cause I always talk to her. I was like, can she hear? And he said, yeah, she can hear. And, I talked to her. I talked to her all the way up to the day that she passed away. I was like, come on, mommy, baby. I was like, you got this. Be a fighter for me, I'll be a fighter for you. And that's all I kept saying to her. Be a fighter for me and I'll be a fighter for you. And then so I guess the OBGYN on call was like, it was like, you know, it's been, you know, about 4 or 5 hours. You still haven't progressed. You're still at 3 centimeters. You know, he was like, this can go 2 ways. He said, if you can stop and your body just stop going into labor and hold the baby. It's about like 22 weeks and like 6 days to 23 weeks. And be on bed rest here until then. Or the second is your labor keeps progressing and there's nothing that we can do. And he was like, even if your baby, no, he just running me down. He's like, even if your baby was to make it to about 22 weeks and 6 days or 23 weeks, it'll be in the NICU for some time. And she can possibly have disabilities or whatever. And she's not going to be like a normal kid. So he was like, we're just gonna put you on watch. See how your body does, see what your body does. And I said, okay. And that's when they switched me to the high risk floor. And had me up there. And I was doing good. I was up there. I ate. I was happy. No more liquor was coming out. Everything was good. I was on strict bed rest. Couldn't even get up to go to the bathroom. I had to use a bedpan. And everything was good. And I was like, oh God, Lord, answer my prayers. Maybe we can make it. And I was talking to her, like, I didn't sleep that whole night. I was up on a high risk floor. I didn't sleep that whole night. I was up talking to her. And I was just up talking to her, calling her name. She was moving. I felt her move. She just kept twisting and turning. See, my baby didn't really kick. She twisted and turned. That's how I knew she was alive in my belly until this happened. And she was just tossing and turning and balling up. Cause my stomach would get real hard. She would ball up, and I was holding my stomach and let her know that everything gonna be okay. Mommy is a fighter, just like you are. Mommy's gonna fight for you. I was like, you fight for me, I fight for you. And I just kept saying that over and over and over and over and over again. Fight for me and I'll fight for you. Mommy's gonna fight for you. Because mommy wants you and daddy wants you, and have little cousins and stuff that want to meet you. So all my great nieces and nephews were so goddamn excited. They were more excited than even I was. Especially when I found out that I had a girl. Oh, they was over the moon when I said I was having a girl. I wanted a boy. She's a blessing anyway. And that's when I had dozed off, and it was about, I want to say like 6:37. No, it was about 6:30 because it was shift change. So I had dozed off. They came in and woke me up to introduce to the new nurse that was going to take care of me and all the other stuff. So then I was like, I have to pee. I gotta pee real bad because I was drinking soda, water, juice. Like, I was drinking everything. Like, I ate, but I wasn't really hungry. Even my whole pregnancy, I wasn't really hungry. I was just really thirsty a lot. Like, my mouth was really dry. Like, I feel like I haven't drunk in days. And that's what happened at the hospital. So I said, I have to go to the bathroom. So that's when she gave me the bedpan. And I go to the bathroom, and I was like, done. And that's when she come back in the room, because for some reason I can't pee when somebody's in the room. I can't pee unless I'm sitting down on the toilet and somebody's in the restroom. Then I can pee, but peeing in the bed is so freaking uncomfortable. But I couldn't pee with somebody in the room. So she had left out the room while I go pee, but she was sitting outside the door And I was like, I'm done. And then that's when she was like, Miss Brundage, do you know that you're bleeding? And I was like, no. Y'all told me not to look down there because it can put pressure on my cervix. So I haven't looked down there and I didn't feel anything. I haven't been leaking since I've been up on this floor. And I've been up on this floor for 12 hours. So, and I was like, I went to the bathroom like a couple other times and I wasn't bleeding. So I was like, no, I didn't know. And that's when she was like, yeah, you're bleeding. And I was like, and that's when panic mode started to set in again. I started to cry and I started to get upset and I started to work myself up. And I was like, Abby, please. I was like, I'm a fighter for you. Please be a fighter for me. Mommy loves you. Mommy don't want nothing to happen to you. Mommy and Daddy loves you so much. Please don't leave us. And they had did like another like pap smear thing. And they was like, yeah, she's bleeding. Like a lot. And I didn't even know. And they was like, oh yeah, we're about to push you back down on labor delivery floor because you're bleeding a lot. So that's what they do. And I'm down on the delivery floor, labor and delivery floor. And I'm like, oh, come on, Abby, please. I was like, Lord, please don't take my Abby away from me. Please don't take my Abby away from me. We've been wanting her for so long. We've been trying for so long. Please don't take her away. And that's all I kept saying. I was like, Lord, please don't take her away. Please don't take her away. And then the doctor came in and was like, we just gotta wait on your body or whatever. So I was like, okay. And this was Tuesday. It was like Tuesday morning, Tuesday afternoon of last week. And I had called my husband and I was like, I'm bleeding and it won't stop, and I'm scared. Can you come up here? And he was like, he said, I'm doing something, but I'll be right up there after I do it. Give me about a couple hours. I was like, all right. So I'm sitting there and nothing's happening again. Like everything just stopped. Like it just, the bleeding stopped. Everything just stopped. And then that's when I had to pee and poop at the same darn time. And I rung the bell for my nurse. I said, hey, I gotta pee and I gotta poop. So she gave me a bedpan. I said, man, I can't poop in this, man. And she was like, well, doctor's orders, you have to pee and poop in a bedpan. Sorry, but not sorry at the same time. So I peed in the bedpan, but I was like, I can't poop in the bedpan. It's not coming out. Just to come and find out, I'm about to get TMI on you guys. It was huge. Like, that poop hurt my butthole. But it was hurting at the same time. So I was like, it's either gonna stay there or it gotta come out. But I tried to like hold it back, like suck it back up in and hold it. No, like it will go right up, then it'll come right back down. And I was like, oh my God. So I knew, and I kind of blamed myself. because they told me not to get out of bed. They was like, I am on strict bed rest because they didn't want to put no pressure on my cervix to make me dilate. But I end up going to the bathroom instead. I end up unhooking everything, the baby monitor, everything, and I end up going to the bathroom. And as I was pushing, this fluid just came out. And I'm like, oh my God. I was like, I'm so sorry, Abby. And that's why I think I feel so guilty to this day, because they told me to stay my black self in the bed and I didn't listen. And but it did come out though. I did push it out though. And it was a big gush that came out of my cooch. But then after that, everything stopped again. And they checked our heart rate. Our heart rate was 144. And I was like, oh, it's going down, but it's still good. And so that's when they was like, oh, we're going to do an ultrasound. And we're going to do an ultrasound. And see what's going on. So the ultrasound tech come in. She does the ultrasound, and she sees that my little Abby is head down. And then I started to panic again. Panic set in again, because I'm like, oh man, she's in the laboring position, head down, bottom up. I said, Lord, please don't take her away from me. Please take her away from me. I know what I did was wrong. I should have never got out of bed, but please don't take her away from me. But they was like, it's still fluid in there. It's still fluid. And I was like, okay. So this was about, I want to say like 5, 6 in the evening. So they was like, do you want like anything to drink? Do you want any water? Do you want any juice? Because I couldn't eat. So they was like, do you want any water? Do you want juice? Do you want a popsicle? I was like, I'll get a popsicle since I can't eat anything. So I was eating a popsicle. And this nurse came in there so sweet. So sweet nurse. Like all my nurses were sweet. I really appreciated them for that, because I wouldn't know what I would do if them nurses wasn't sweet. And she was like, she said, you need to drink more water, because you know the baby drinks his pee. And I was like, they do? And she was like, yeah, the baby drinks his pee. So keep chugging water down. So I'm chugging water down. Like, I'm not stopping. Like the big hospital cups, like I chugged that whole thing down to, got probably to about like half, not even half, like a quarter of a way done. I was chugging water. And then she had put on the wall, like the little wall that states like where everything is, you know, where they write your doctor's name and a number and all that other stuff down, and your pain rate, all that other stuff. And she wrote down, results are to get no infection and to keep baby in for another week. And then I never had a nurse do this, but I'm kind of glad she did. she prayed for me. She just put her hand on my stomach. She just prayed. And after she was done, I was like, thank you so much. And she was like, you're welcome. So that's when I want to say it was about 11. It was like 11:30 going on 12. No, I think it was either 10:30 going on 11 or 11 going on 11:30. And that's when, you know, they wanted to check the baby's heart rate and stuff like that to see where her heart rate was, see if it was dropping, see if it completely stopped, see if it went higher, you know, or whatever. So that's when she couldn't find the heartbeat on the Doppler. And she was like, I need, because like 3 nurses came in and tried to, and she was like, I gotta get the doctors in here, they probably gotta do an ultrasound because we can't find the baby's heartbeat. So I'm like, Lord, please don't take her away from me. Like, I love her, I wanted her, this is the baby I always wanted. I was like, I need her, I'm doing all these life changes for her. And that's when the doctor came in. She did the ultrasound, and I couldn't see anything flickering, because usually I can see. And she was like, Miss Brundage, I'm so sorry. She was like, let me get my colleagues. Let me get somebody else. Let's see if they can find the heartbeat. And so the other doctor came in, and I still didn't see anything. I was like, no, my baby girl. So then another doctor came in, and I guess that was the doctor over top of them, like their superior. And she did it. She was like, I'm so sorry. So unfortunate that he's gone. I was so heartbroken. I kept saying, Lord, why me, why me? And everything just like moved like so fast. And I was like, well, we have to hurry up and get her out of there. It was like, so we're going to give you medicine to speed up the process. So they was like, do you want an epidural? I told them, yeah. And then I called my husband. I was like, baby, she's gone. That was the first time I ever saw my husband cry. Heard my husband cry. And he was like, I'm on my way up there now. And then I called my mom. And we weren't mommy yet. She's gone. And then my mom, she started crying on the phone, and she told my dad to bring her to the hospital. But only one person could stay in the room with me. And like 20 minutes later, my mom comes in the room. And I just started bawling, crying again. And I was like, she's really gone. And I just kept saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. That's all I kept saying. Well, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And the nurses, they cried with me. Oh my God. And they was crying with me. And they was like, Miss Brenda, I'm so sorry for your loss. And that's when my husband got there. A little bit after my mom got there. And he was crying. And he was trying his best to calm me down, because I lost it. I lost it. So then about 30 to 45 minutes later, the anesthesiologist comes in to give me the epidural. And I was just so upset with myself. So upset with myself. And that's when they doctor stayed in there with me after. The nurse stayed in there with me after. And to see if everything's gonna go good with the epidural, make sure there was no complications or anything. And that's when they set up everything. And they told me to start pushing. And I pushed for like 20 minutes. And I still wasn't progressing. Like I think I was still like 3 to 4 centimeters dilated. So I wasn't even full 10 centimeters dilated. And it was like, well, you're still not progressing. And it was like, we'll give you something to help speed up. So they gave me some medicine, put it up my cooch, and just waited. And I cried myself to sleep. And then the nurse came in about 3 going on 4 and was like, how do you feel? Do you feel any contractions or anything? Oh, let me go back a little bit. Before I found out that that she was no longer with us, I was contracting like every 2 to 3 minutes on the dot, every 2 to 3 minutes for like 30 seconds. And them contractions was so strong, like it made no sense. And my husband was there with me at this time. But let's go back to the rest of the story. So they put this medicine up my cooch, and about 3 going on 4 o'clock, the nurse came in and was like, "How do you feel? Are you feeling any pain? Are you experiencing anything?" And I said, "No." Then all of a sudden, I just felt like this gush just come out, like this gush. It felt so nasty. It really woke me up out of my sleep, because I was in and out of consciousness where the nurse was in there asking me questions. But as soon as I felt that gush, I just woke up. And then that's when I told the nurse. I called, because she had left the room, and I had called the nurse back, and I was like, "I felt the gush." So she looked down. She was like, "Oh yeah, you bleeding." So all I know is that the gush just kept coming out. And they was like, "Do you feel the urge to push?" I told them, "No, I don't have the urge to push." But they went up there, did the little manual, tried to check my cervix. They was like, "Her head is right there, so you have to begin to push." And I guess the reason why I didn't feel her push, because she was so small. So I didn't feel that pressure to push. And the second time I pushed her out in 4 pushes. And they hurry up, took her, cleaned her up. And then it was like, "Do you want to hold her?" "Yes, I want to hold my child." And I just looked at her, and I was like, I just started bawling again. I just broke down again. I just broke down. And I took pictures. And I was like, "Oh, she would have had my nose. She would have had her dad. She would have been, everything else would have been her daddy." Except for her hands. Her hands and her nose were mine. Everything else was the father's. The lip, the feet, everything. And I just held her. And I was like, I just kept saying to her, "Mommy is so sorry. Mommy is so sorry. Mommy couldn't control her body. Mommy is so sorry." And they said, "Do you want pictures of her?" And I said, "Yeah." So they took her and they did pictures or whatever. You know. They did her little handprint, her little feet. She was only 15.5 ounces. She was born at 21 weeks. 21 weeks and 4 days. Yeah, 21 weeks and 4 days. And she just looked so precious. It just looked like she was asleep. because her eyes haven't opened yet. It just looked like she was sleeping. That's what my husband, I sent a picture to everybody. He said she looks so beautiful. My baby was so beautiful, guys. Like, so beautiful. She was too beautiful for this earth. And then I stayed like another 2 days in the hospital. And she was right by me. They had her like in a little like cradle thing, and they had like something under her to keep her cold. I just kept looking at her. She was so tiny. And I didn't want to, sometimes I didn't even want to pick her up because that's just how tiny and delicate she was. But I picked her up. I sang to her. I rocked her. I told her that she's the most beautiful thing mommy made. And that she was too beautiful for this earth, so God took her away. And then I got her baptized, and I didn't even want to see her go. And then on my discharge day, they said, do you want us to take her? Do you want to stay? You could stay up to 12 o'clock midnight. I picked her up and hugged her one last time and rocked her. I said, my beautiful angel's in a better place. And my friend Jessie's been through this. She's been through this 3 times. So she kind of knew what I was going through. And that's when she came up to the hospital. She visited me. She seen her and everything. And then my nurse cried too. She was just like, I'm so sorry for your loss. And she was like, Ebony's in a better place. So that is the story of my little baby. And anyone going through it, they said it gets better. Take it day by day. And I just wanted to tell my story.